Welcome back to the Road to National series. Today I'm going to take you through a lower max workout, and later in the video I'm going to be talking to you about training partners. But first, this is me building up to my max variation for the day. It is a banded 18-inch box squat. Now, I had massively aggravated my knee injury that I've been dealing with a few days before this. So I decided to do this variation because for some reason, sitting down like this and sending my hips back more rather than sending my knees over my toes meant I experienced basically no pain when doing that max effort. So I was able to build up basically to a regular max effort. It was a little easier than if I pushed myself to my limit, but the main priority was not aggravating the knee anymore, but very happy with the number that I hit. It would have been a good max effort no matter what. Then moving on to accessories. This is my first accessory, which is cambered bar good mornings, using the open trap bar as the cambered bar. I find the cambered bar much better for good mornings because it means that the bar doesn't feel like it's rolling down and off my neck. I find that if I use a regular barbell, because the weight is cambered and is lower, it feels like it's always pulling down on my shoulders rather than feeling up too high like it's going to roll off my neck. So my other accessories in this video are quad extension isometrics. After these, I'm doing isometrics because that didn't aggravate my knee. If I was trying to do normal range of motion, I warmed up a bit on the quad extensions and that was hurting the knee. So I was taking it easy for the day, and it's definitely something I'm just going to have to manage in future anyway. Then I have calf raises, and then I have hip adductions to end off. So whilst those accessories are playing, I'm going to talk you through training partners. So there are a lot of benefits to training partners, and particularly if you have good training partners. If you have bad training partners, it can be a disaster. They can encourage you to ego lift. They can say, it's all you, bro, and really they're just lifting the weight for you. But the first benefit of training partners, assuming you've got a good training partner, is consistency. If you've agreed to meet up with your partner, 3 days a week, you're probably going to meet up with them. Even if you've got in from a long day of work and you're tired, it's something to look forward to. It almost makes the gym a social event. So it's likely going to increase your consistency with sticking to the gym. The second benefit of good training partners, and this particularly applies to more experienced training partners than you, this is something that I've experienced the most benefit with, is that they can give you good information or ideas about technique, for instance. So I have trained in the past in my little gym here. I've had a friend who is a powerlifter and has been doing it more years than me, and I used to try and squat with an ultra wide stance and just sending my hips back, never having any dorsiflexion, which is where you send your knees forwards over your toes. And that is because that is what I had seen advised online from Westside barbell lifters in particular, equipped powerlifters. And because I subscribe to the conjugate training methodology, I also thought that that squat technique was going to be best for me. It turns out it isn't. I think raw powerlifting is very different, and that technique just doesn't lend itself to my leverages and my strengths. So having another experienced training partner who he in fact squats with a much narrower stance, he just made me try out a new technique, talked me through that. It took me a while to adjust and implement it, but then I immediately set a 10 kilo PR a few weeks after being able to adopt my stance. So that sort of information and ideas, particularly from a more experienced training partner, can be exceptionally useful. Another thing that training partners can do is literally unlock some more techniques that you're able to do in the gym. If you're wanting to train with high intensity and to do forced reps, for instance, you train to failure, and then your gym partner helps with forced reps doing extra repetitions. That is literally not possible, obviously, if you don't have a gym partner. So having a gym partner unlocks literal new gym techniques. Another great advantage of, again, a good solid gym partner is that they can provide a sensible point of view. So there's a famous quote, which is that we're all idiots when it comes to our own training. Many personal trainers actually hire a trainer outside of themselves to program for themselves anyway, and film their sets and send it off. Because when it comes to our own training, we always think, oh, the rules don't apply to us, or you do a squat that was exceptionally hard, a massive grinder, and you go, yeah, that was an RPE 6. And it just wasn't. So having a great training partner and a good outside eye, somebody who's not going to blow smoke up your butt and just going to tell you how it is and go, look, that was way too hard for your top set today. That did not follow your programming. You need to back off a little. Or if you're thinking of making a big jump, they could just say, look, I don't think that's realistic. Do a smaller jump first. And as long as you respect your training partner and their judgment, and they are going to tell you the truth, that is going to benefit your training. So that's another great advantage of having a good, solid training partner, is that they can provide an unbiased and objective outside eye. And the last main benefit of a training partner is obviously safety. So I like to use safety spotter arms, like you can see on my rack here. I find them much more consistent for saving me than a spotter. So I don't train bench with a spotter. I just set the safety arms above my neck height, but below my chest height when I'm arching, so that when I bench, I can still bench all the way down to my chest. But if I fail halfway through, I just lie flat and the bar will come to a stop on the safety spotters before it crushes me, and I'm able to just scoot out from underneath. I find that a really reliable and safe way of lifting. I do the same with squatting, and obviously with a deadlift, you don't really need that. But any lift that needs spotting, I don't use a gym partner as a spotter for that reason. But having another person in the gym is obviously going to be more safe for if something goes wrong. I have had safety spotter arms break before. That was when I failed a squat, bailed it, and it smashed onto the safety spotter arms when I was using an axle bar. My axle is 37.5 kilos, which is like, I don't know, 80 pounds, 85 pounds of solid metal. And when it hit down on the spotter arms, that axle has no give in it. It's not like a normal bar, which whips a bit and can get caught by spotter arms. Because the axle was so stiff, it obliterated the spotter arms, and having somebody else there is obviously much safer. Luckily, the spotter arm did hold up. I was actually training alone that time. But if things had gone wrong, having somebody else in the gym is always better. They can help you, even if they could literally only call for help or try and alleviate the weight in some way, even if they're not fully spotting you. So they are the advantages of gym partners. I would advise you try and get yourself a good gym partner. The best is if they're doing the same program as you, because then you can sort of compete with each other, particularly if they're at a similar strength level with you. That is very fun and motivating. So coming back to today's workout, this is my final set of hip abductions for the day. These were very challenging. I tried to go deeper than I ever have before, and when I finally progressively load all the way down, I will start adding weight. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of those good things, and have a great day.